Right then, still Breakfast Central on News Central. It's a Friday. It's been wet though, but looks like the weather is clearing up. Well, let's go straight to business as usual, where we'll be looking at Starterpreneur, our weekly Starterpreneur. And today's one focuses on a special guest, Olubowale-Olukoya. He's an executive managing director and interior architect of Cube Designs Limited. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Quite interesting. Interior design business in Nigeria. Let me use the phrase, how far?
Well, what can I say? The interior design business is a growing business in Nigeria, and
so it's not saturated yet.
Well, you have a lot of people. It's it's one of those businesses, just like how the fashion design business started. So like now, because a lot of people are beginning to know more about the interior design business, you have a lot of people that are coming up now.
And how did it start for you? Because you have quite a portfolio here. You're also an architect
Yes.
by profession.
Yes.
But by trade, interior design.
Yes,
So
I did my master's in interior design. So
after first degree.
after my first degree in architecture, I did my master's in interior design.
So how are you combining both? Did you recognize that there's a market to streamline both together?
Yes, definitely. I mean, like for architectural design, it's like it's more about the building.
Yeah, the outer layer.
The outer, the exterior part, and then interior, it's more like you're focusing on the inside of the building. So it's a perfect combination.
Would you say so how did it start for you? Was it that it's your passion? So where did it all begin?
To be honest, growing up, like from my childhood, I've always loved drawing. And from drawing, I had this fascination for buildings. And back then, I didn't really understand. I didn't know there was anything like architecture. I just used to be very fascinated about buildings and all that. And that's what led me to doing architecture. But then in course of studying architecture, I started focusing on the interior aspects, like the building, like how you feel when you are inside. Like how the space, how you move around the space, how functional the space is. And that's where the passion for interior now came about.
Wow, as executive managing director and architect of Cube Designs Limited, how would you say the industry, how viable is this industry?
Oh, it's very, very viable. A lot of people now are beginning to see the importance of having an interior designer as part of your team.
When you say people, you mean individuals or
businesses,
offices,
offices, name it. You need to have an interior designer as part of your team, because they have like the understanding of how furnitures, how your space works in general. You don't just interior design is not just about furnitures, window treatments, and all that. It's more than that. It's about the flooring. It's about the wall finishing. It's about the ceiling. There's a lot of details that go into interior design, not just the decoration aspect that everybody seems to think, interior design is just about decoration and all that.
Well, we're seeing some fabulous kind of works. I'm sure you can even do better than this.
Yeah, it's actually so, looking at it here, like it's, wow.
From homes to offices to bars to recreational centers.
Yeah, to event spaces.
Event spaces. So basically, it's the first thing you notice when you walk into a room or a building. So for you, what comes to your mind as an interior designer?
A lot.
Okay.
For example, like when you walk into a space, you want to understand what the person was thinking of when they were putting together this space. If you're working in a commercial space that is a high traffic space, there are certain types of floor finishes, there's certain types of, even for the chairs, there's certain types of fabrics that you want to use, that works.
The upholstery.
Exactly. You don't just want to use this because it looks beautiful. It has to be functional.
Yeah.
So those are the things I look out for when I walk into a space, like the flooring, the ceiling, the lighting, the furniture, the fabrics, all those different things.
So how long have you been doing this with Cube Design? Because it's a startup, right?
It is. It is somewhat like, I wouldn't say it's a full-on startup, because this year we actually marked 5 years.
Oof.
Yes.
So, can we say, yeah, it's a startup, and I hope so. That you've seen. I hope you've seen successes, and
Oh,
in terms of the business. So
definitely.
what's been the most challenging for you as a startuppreneur, as someone in business? Especially in the Nigerian environment, what's been the most challenge?
You know how it is in Nigeria. Any business in Nigeria, to be honest, I always say, if you can make it in Nigeria, you can make it anywhere else in the world. Because one of the major challenges that we face is the lack of skilled personnel, like skilled contractors. Sometimes we almost take on the role of the plumber or the electrician because you're almost like telling them what you need them to do.
Oh, okay.
And we suffer from this. I like to call it I go manage culture.
This is serious.
Yes, you have like some projects and you're telling the contractor this is how it needs to be, and you can manage it. And I'm like, I'm not paying you to give me something I can manage. I'm paying you to do something that is properly executed. That when my client walks into the space, they're happy with the space. But that's
the most difficult challenge.
Yes, working with skilled personnel. Let me just put it that way.
Is it the lack of the skill or the discipline around the skill or
the whole thing? The discipline.
Well, but you can't be an interior designer without this such skill. That because they are the ones who are going to get the work in, put the nail in, and the furnishing and the finishing.
Definitely. I think one of the things that we will need to. I think it would be one of the key things that we really need to do in Nigeria is like start developing like all this vocational schools where people can actually go and get proper certification. Like if you go outside of Nigeria and you want to hire a plumber or you want to hire an electrician,
a carpenter,
he's certified. He tells you, he can even show you his certificate or his ID card. But a lot of the contractors here in Nigeria, some of them, I don't want to say all of them are not. But a lot of them, they probably started off as an apprentice, working with somebody, and then they're like
the apprenticeship system,
that kind of thing. So it's basically, how you go into a mechanic's workshop and he's hitting this. It's like trial and error.
Would you say so? Is it a problem? Is it the skill or the professionalism now? If you were to be more specific with
exactly, yes, the skill of the professionalism.
All right. So if that's been the biggest challenge, so what would you say has been the big success you've seen? Because as a start of 5 years in this interior design industry, there must have been some success that you can point to.
To be honest, I think one of my there are so many, and one is actually establishing O-Cube 5 years ago, and 5 years in still being relevant in this industry. And also another success for me as a whole is being a part of